So let's deploy a React application to the cloud. I'm going to start from scratch, and that implies that I'm going to create a new React application in my home directory. So if you remember, to create a new React application, you have to type create as React as app space, and now the name of the app that you want to create. So what do we want to build? I don't care, right? So today it's not relevant what the content is about the first app in the cloud. Yeah? It's just a basic app with React, hello world maybe, and then the idea is eventually we'll have a public link that we'll be able to share with friends, relatives, or whatever. Yeah. So let me create an app called Hello Cloud, because it's the first time we're going to deploy an app to the cloud. And then we just press enter, and of course that may take a bit to complete, right? In the meantime, so let me tell you something. There are obviously multiple ways of deploying apps to the cloud. You are gonna play with at least two alternatives. This is one of them, and as part of conflicts on task number 17, you are gonna use a different technique. I think it's important to dominate different alternatives, because at the end of the day, there isn't a perfect solution when talking about the cloud. Depending on what you want to build, you may use option A or option B. Today, I'm going to use option A, which is the simplest one. So option A is about deploying static web applications to the cloud. That means applications that have just front-end applications, no backend at all. Yeah. So obviously, we are limiting the scope of our apps. However, I'll tell you something, sometimes we just want to build simple things. So what's the point of dealing with a complex architecture when creating simple applications? Yeah? A friend of mine is probably a millionaire, so he has a startup, and he is spending 50 grand per month on infrastructure, which doesn't make any sense, right? Because even though what he's building is relatively complex, you know, the infrastructure he's using is obviously beyond the needs of his company. So it's important to be able to scale and to t-shirt size your needs. You know, t-shirt sizing, guys, be able to have an idea about how big or how small your application is. So today, I'm going to build something quite simple. This technique will be particularly useful tomorrow, because tomorrow you're going to work on your portfolio. The portfolio is essentially a front-end application. You don't need any backend unless you want to do something really weird. Why do you need a backend to create your portfolio? You don't need it. So this technique will be particularly useful. I think it's also fair to note that we recently started using this tool, the tool I'm going to present today. I think maybe 3-4 months ago. It was probably at the beginning of 2020. So last year we used different techniques, but this one has proved to be much better. So the idea of this technique is, hey, if you want to deploy something simple, then why the deployment process should be any complicated? Alright, so after this boring introduction, I got my application ready. So next step is, I'm gonna check on my VS Code, because essentially I want to make sure everything works as expected. So I will click on Open Folder, and I will find the location of my Hello Cloud project, which is in my home directory, as you know. So then when you open it, I mean, there is nothing particularly exotic here. Yeah? I'm just creating a new app. Tomorrow, you are gonna follow literally the same steps when working on your portfolio. So when tomorrow someone asks me, how do I start? I'll tell you, please watch the video that we recorded yesterday. All right, so this is a basic React application. Let's start the server. So terminal, new terminal. And then, to start the server, you type npm start, as you do every single day. Maybe now you'll find something interesting, because I got multiple React applications running in parallel in my machine. This is not throwing. I mean, this is asking me a question like, hey, there is something else running. Are you sure you want to run this application? Then you type capital Y or yes, and then that will hopefully start the React application, the new one, in a new tab. I will show you in a second. So you see now the React application is loading. You know that sometimes takes a bit of time, but you see it's saying starting the development server. So we just need to wait until the app is ready. In the meantime, obviously you can have a look to the folder structure. This is something you already feel familiar with. You got the src folder, and inside of the src folder you got the app component with the default welcome home screen. Yeah. So I don't want to do any change until I prove my app works correctly. Yeah. And this is taking longer than expected, but you know, this is the type of things that happens from time to time. All right, so let me plan my, actually, no, I'm not gonna plan anything because now it should be okay. So here we go. I got my React application. So that's the first step. If you are unable to get the spinning logo of React, then there is no point of moving them, yeah? So let's first make sure that we satisfy step A before moving to step B. And step A, which is, you know, creating a new application with React, is okay. So now what is the plan? Well, I want to deploy my app to the cloud. The process to deploy an app to the cloud, following the technique you are going to see today, works as following. So let me zoom my screen a bit. I will present you the steps. So we got 3 layers. First of all, we got local, and then we got GitHub, and then we got the cloud. Yeah? So local, this is your laptop, right? This is your local environment with your files, whatever. So this is local changes. So then what you do is using git commit and git push, you deploy to GitHub. Yeah. So now we are gonna do. Actually, let me add some notes here. So with git push, we send the changes to GitHub. Yeah, that's something we know already. So now, once we got the change on GitHub, what we are gonna introduce is something called Git hook. So we are gonna intercept the process of sending the code from my local environment to my GitHub account. So whenever my changes are incorporated into my GitHub account, they will be automatically deployed to the cloud. So they will be available on http www.whatever.com. Yep. That's a pretty standard and simplistic process because you don't need to take any extra actions. As soon as you do git push, the changes will be incorporated into GitHub and they will be deployed to the cloud. Yeah? So I think that's pretty straightforward. Yeah? You don't need to take any manual actions in order to publish your changes. So before talking about the cloud, we obviously need to deal with GitHub, right? So let's create a new project on GitHub. So how we do that? Well, you just go to your GitHub account, and then you have to create a new repository, right? As you already know. So you go to repositories, and then you create new on the right hand side, and then you call it, I don't know, I think I call it locally Hello Cloud. So I like, guys, even though that's not strictly necessary, I like to respect the semantics. Yeah. If I call my folder locally Hello Cloud, I'm tempted to call it Hello Cloud in the cloud as well, even though, as I said, that's not strictly speaking necessary. All right, so then create repository, and then I'll get an empty repo. You see, there is nothing yet. And then next step is to tell my laptop where the repo is in the cloud. So far, guys, I'm just repeating the first 2 set of videos you got, as part of Codeflix. So I'm not talking, I'm not explaining anything that you shouldn't know already. Yeah, I'm just repeating myself. All right, so what I do next is I copy that URL. And guys, can anyone tell me whether I should copy HTTPS or SSH? Why? Why? So the answer was right. The explanation was horrible, Vicky. Now, so the problem is, technically speaking, I could play with both HTTPS or SSH. The difference is, if I play with HTTPS, every time I push, I'll have to enter my GitHub credentials, user and password. I don't want to do that because I may be pushing 40 times a day. Do you remember, guys, you created an SSH key? So the SSH key is a way to establish some sort of relationship between your laptop and your GitHub. So you don't need to enter your credentials every time you commit and you push, right? That's why, because you already have an SSH key, I think it's much simpler just to copy the SSH version of the URL. And then what do we need to do next? Well, if you remember, the next step was to do Git Remote add origin, and then you paste the URL you copied. Yeah? So based on that, we are essentially telling our laptop where in the cloud the repo is, the address of the repo. Yeah? If you don't feel very comfortable with these steps, please re-watch the second video on the setup of configs. So once we've done that, what else? I think that's pretty much it. So hopefully we can commit and push. So if I do commit and push, if everything works as expected, I will get excuse me, I will get a bunch of files and folders here. So let's just run it, and if it doesn't work, we'll try to analyze why it doesn't work. So git commit. There is nothing to commit, so the only thing we need to do is git push. This branch, would we like to publish the branch? Yes. So that will push, hopefully, my changes to the master branch of my new Hello Cloud repo. So, question for you guys. What happens if I now refresh my Hello Cloud project? Hello? Will I get any changes here? Yeah, that's the question. Will we get any files and folders or not? But I push already. All right. Why not? But that's not necessary. That's a good point. So that's Maxim. So I like your answer, because even though it's not correct, it makes a lot of sense. It's a very sensible answer. So the thing is, we didn't have to add, we didn't have to commit. So this is happened on the first time automatically. This happened automatically. Look at the commit message. Initialize project using create React app. Did I commit that? Did I enter that message at all? No, I didn't. I didn't commit that. So why the hell there is a single commit with that message, with a text, with a title? Because when you install a React application, by default, if you got Git installed, everyone has Git installed already. Create React app will run the first commit. So Create React app will do the first add and commit for us. So now the only thing we need to do is to push it, to make it to persist it into the cloud. Yeah. Of course. From now on, any changes on the Hello Cloud project will require commit and push. Okay? But for now, that's pretty much it. So, do you have any questions so far? So once again, guys, so I've done nothing new, right? So all the steps I follow have been already explained. But now let's start with the new stuff. So as I told you before, I want to send my code to the cloud as soon as it gets pushed to GitHub. And how are we going to do it? We are going to use, we need something else. So GitHub is very useful to host the code into the cloud. Yeah? So I got my code saved into the cloud. That's it. But this code is not going to run. So this is just like a hard drive, you know, or a pen drive. You got a pen drive and you copy your code. Yeah? But the pen drive by itself doesn't run npm start. Yeah? So how can I do npm start here? You need an external dependency. Let me present you something called Now. This is once again a new tool that is becoming very, very, very popular very quickly because of its simplicity. It's a very simple way of sending the code to the cloud. So how does it work? Well, first of all, we need to join the website. Let me. Oh, did they rename it? Vercel? What the hell is that? I don't know. So I'm just trying to find out the resources in real time. Yeah. So the first result is GitHub, which is okay. Actually, it looks like they have. Oh, look, they rename it. Okay, fair enough. So that's completely new. I didn't know that. HTTPS Vercel.com. What the hell is that? I don't know. Let's figure it out. So if I go to Vercel.com, that's what I wanted to find. Yeah. So it looks like they have renamed the project. All right. Vercel formally said, announced. All right. So they got quite a lot of money recently. 21 million. All right. Fair enough. Good for them. So first thing is you need to create an account. Yeah, which is free. So yeah, you just go to sign up and you follow the steps and blah 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 blah. You can actually you can sign up using your GitHub account, which is something that I would recommend you for simplicity reasons. So yeah, I want to continue with my GitHub account, and then you can see I got some projects. You can ignore that because obviously I've been playing in the past with that tool already, so you can ignore what you got before. But now the thing is, I wanna link my new project with Now or Vercel. I'm confused, guys. I don't know how to call it. To the triangle thingy. Yeah. So what do we do next? Well, once again, I'm not very familiar with the user interface, but I'm just gonna follow my natural instinct. Import project. Yes, sounds good to me. Import project. Import from where? From Git. Yes, import from Git. What else? GitHub. Import project from GitHub. That's correct. Import project from GitHub. And now, look, I got a bunch of projects. And I need to find where my new project is. So I need to search. Can I search hello cloud? Here you go. You see, if search hello, I got hello cloud. So I click on select, and then I click import. So hopefully, I don't know what else. Project name. Yes, I'm gonna do everything by default. I don't know what the hell that means. So next. What else? And then that's important, guys. Auto detected. I'm quite happy about that message. Auto detected React App framework. That means that Now or Vercel understood the nature of my project. So hopefully that should simplify things a bit. So let me just click deploy. You see, I haven't changed anything at all. I just, selected my project and then accepted everything as it is. So now, look, hello cloud, and then state building. That sounds very promising to me. So now, what is going on? So first of all, look, I got a URL. That's promising because this is where my project will be eventually in the cloud. Yeah? So now, this platform is optimizing JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Sorry guys, there is some background noise. Let me find out where the noise is coming from. Yeah, I don't know where it's coming from. All right, cool. Thank you, guys. So this platform is optimizing my source code, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, blah, 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 for the cloud. So after 1 minute, more or less, look, that looks really promising, right? That's the preview of my application in the cloud. So if I click on it, boom, you see, guys, I got my Hello World application in the cloud. Look at the URL, hello cloud-10, because of whatever reason. So that's a random URL that you get by default. So that's public. Actually, I'm sharing that URL with you on Slack, so you can play with it to prove that this is actually live. And that's the way it works. So from now on, the theory is every time I commit and push, the changes will become immediately available to everyone. Let's prove the theory. So let's what? Let's clean up a bit. That's what you did on conflicts as well. So let's get rid of the header, and then let's create a function called hello cloud, for instance. Yeah? Obviously, make sure, guys, before you commit and push, make sure that your app looks as expected. Mind that this is all we want to do for now. Actually, let's do a bit of CSS just to prove that that the CSS works as well, right? So let's remove pretty much everything, and then let's, I don't know, change the color for H1, so something like that, and then color red. Yes, as an example to make sure that our app can update the CSS as well. All right, so far so good. Next step, commit and push, right? So I open the Git panel, and then you set the commit message as you've been doing every single day. So my message is clean up boilerplate code and set up a default app title, for instance. You commit, and then you push. So now let's pay attention, guys. A couple of interesting things will happen. So once everything is pushed back to my GitHub account, first of all, I should have 2 commits instead of 1. So let me refresh. That's correct, 2 commits. Clean up boilerplate code, set up default title. So my changes were correctly persisted. And now look. I didn't do anything. I didn't even refresh the page. However, look, now Mercel automatically detected that there was a new commit and push in my code. So now it's redeploying my changes, and this time it took half a minute. And then just because of the preview, I can immediately see that my changes were deployed. So that's the old version. If I refresh the page, I should get the newest one. Here we go. You see? And that's it. You see how easy it is to deploy your application to the cloud. So that's pretty much it. Questions? Yes. Of course, if you got a custom domain, guys, I know some of you. I mean, if you got www.sexyboy.com, well, hopefully you don't have the domain. But if you got your personal domain with your first name, last name, whatever, that's a DNS thing. So you need to link that URL from your DNS domain provider, like GoDaddy, 1&1, or whatever. Yeah. Actually, I think you can rename that domain somehow. You cannot do magic, but I think there is a way to change that. View domains, you see. So if you click on view domains, yeah, exactly. So you can play with that. You can you can, I don't know. I'm not an expert on that, but yeah, definitely you can do that. What else, guys? Hello, any feedback? So tomorrow you are gonna work on your portfolio. So the very first thing you are gonna do is literally repeating these steps. Yeah? So tomorrow, I would like you to first of all create a new app from scratch, as I've done today. Then deploy to the cloud, as I've done today. And then every time you do a change, then the change should be reflected into the public cloud. And then you may be wondering, but what happens if I'm changing something? But it's the end of the day. The feature I'm working at is not finished yet, but I want to stop working. But I need to push the changes, because otherwise it's a bit risky, right? What happens if a burglar breaks into my house and gets my laptop, right? So I really want to push my changes. However, I don't want to make them public. So does anyone know how to deal with that use case scenario? Do you guys, did you get what the problem is, first of all? So can we, yeah? No, that's wrong. What happens if you commit and don't push? The changes remain local. No. I don't want to make my project private. Say it again, Elijah. Sorry, can you repeat that again? Yes. No, but wait. Imagine that you've been working for, I don't know, a couple of weeks on your portfolio, yeah, and it's live, and and it's live, and everyone can access it, and all good. And now you want to add some changes, but you don't want to make these changes public yet, because it's not something you feel proud of yet. You're just playing around. However, you want to save it. You want to persist the changes somewhere. So anyone has any idea how to proceed? You have no excuse if you've been working on task number 13 plus. A pull request? No, it's not about. That's correct, Lauren. You create a new branch starting on task number 13. So if you haven't dealt with task number 13 yet, that's fine. You don't have to know that. But if you've been working on task number 13 already, you should know that. So in task number 13, you start creating branches. So a branch is a way to create. I'm oversimplifying that, but it's a way to create some sort of copy of your project, and then you can do all the dirty stuff in that copy. Yeah? So then you can push the changes to that copy, and these changes will remain private to your audience. Yeah? Eventually, if you are happy with the changes you've done in that copy, you can merge them, you can incorporate them into your master. Yeah? And that's something explained on task number 13. So don't worry about that for now, if you've done that yet. If you haven't worked on that yet. What? That's correct. Yeah, that's a good point, Maxine. The master branch is going to be publicly available. However, if you want to remain something private to your audience, then you create a new branch, and then you do exactly. That's correct. We are gonna work. I think this will happen on the next week. For sure, it will be next week. We're gonna run a workshop about how to deal with branches, how to review your code, how to deal with conflicts. So we're gonna run a workshop about that next week. I will update the calendar shortly, so don't worry about that. And next month you're gonna work with branches every single day as part of the team application. Anything else, guys? No? Alright, so once again, this will be the first activity for tomorrow. It goes without saying that you are more than invited to start playing with this schema, with this setup today. And if you got any questions, you know where I am. So thank you very much, guys.